Greetings, brethren, and welcome back to the How to Get Better at Chess series, where I, the Chess Crusader, will help you get better at chess by showing you how to find and make good moves, as well as how to develop your own game plan. So we're going to get started here against Coach David here, rated 1600. His advice is going to supplement mine down here. He'll give us some tips and tricks. So yeah, we'll start here. We will be playing as Black here today. So some reaction, no theory, no openings right here. We're just getting right into it. Showing you how to get better at chess by knowing how to make good moves. That is the plan. That is the play here. Okay, so my opponent pushes the pawn forward. Very common move. What we want to do is develop our pieces. We can develop a pawn. We can go for, this is called a Scandinavian, and we can do this. I know some theory on this, but I'm not going to assume that you know any theory on this. And usually, if I bring out my pawn, take, and then our queen's out, that's usually a bad idea. You watch any Gotham chess videos, they'll show you, don't bring out your queen right away. So if we don't know what we're doing there, we won't do it. How do we make a good move here? Well, we want to control some squares that won't be threatened right away by this pawn. If we bring out this knight here, it's good. We develop a piece. That's what we want to do. You might think, hey, let's develop this knight to attack this pawn. Not a good move because then he can just push this pawn, which attacks our knight. Then we got to move it somewhere else. And then that's not good. He gets some tempo on us. So let's just bring out this knight right here. He'll develop his knight. Yeah, that's totally fine. Overdeveloping the square. What can we do here? Well, we still can't go... we still can't bring out this knight because if he pushes this pawn, we can't take because he brought this knight out now. So let's just bring out this pawn to meet him. That's one of the best opening moves you could have played. Well, what do you know? Okay, so he brings out his pawn here to attack this pawn right in the middle of the board. You could try lots of ideas. You could try to maybe protect it. Or definitely don't protect it with this one because then how are you going to get your bishop out, right? So could do this, but then where are you going to put your knight? You got to put it here, which is kind of an unnatural square right now. So let's just take it. No reason not to, just doing a little bit of a exchange here in the middle. Okay, opponent takes back right here. Probably want to take back ourselves too, just so that, let's say we develop a piece or go here. If he takes, we double up a pawn. We don't want to be doing that. We do not want to double up our pawns here. So yeah, let's just take right back. Why not? The knight gives me a solid grip on the center. That's true. He's got a pawn here. He's got his queen here. We don't have too much developed. But something that we can do is we can try to make some moves on this queen to get a little bit more developed. So how can we do this? Well, we can push this pawn forward because the queen can't take it. That's not a bad move at all, so we will do that. Just to kind of open up some space here. Okay, and he's going to bring out his... he's going to move his queen back, and now his queen and his pawn are both in the center, but now we have a pawn here, so that's good. Defended by the pawn, of course. Still can't really put my knight here because then he can just push forward, and that's not great. So maybe something we can do is we can put our knight here. Not a great idea because then our bishop gets trapped. Let's put this pawn here to both like strengthen this pawn here, but also now we can get our other bishop out. We don't want to be too congested back here. We have a lot of pieces on the back line right now. This is something you don't usually want to do. It's okay right now because we're still in the opening, but now your priority should be let's get some pieces into play right here. So how can we do that? One way, we can just put our bishop right here. A good idea. Okay, he's gonna put his knight there. What are you gonna do about that? There's not really a threat right now. I wouldn't be too worried about it. Where can this knight go? Popular places to go here to fork the king and the rook, but our queen is protecting that square. So we just got to make sure we know what is protecting what before we move anything. Now is not a bad time to try and get this knight out because we both attacked this knight and it's defended by this, so we don't have to double any of our pawns. Some people might want to trade here, but if we just keep trading or he can take back with this queen, we're going to have zero development, and that's just kind of a crazy way to play chess, honestly. We want to get our pieces developed. We want to be kind of strong in that regard, so we'll bring out our knight here. An interesting offer. Okay, so yeah, it brings out, he just develops, right? This is good. Put some pressure on this pawn. It's defended a couple times, so we don't have to worry about it, but now he can castle if he wants to, so that's a good move by him. He's getting ready to castle, that's what he says. Missed that on my own, but now wouldn't be a bad time to trade this knight. This knight's in a really good position because it's anchored and it controls a lot of squares in my position that are really close to me, so we'll do a trade here. Okay, takes back. Now we got to move our bishop because otherwise it'll be taken. So we got to put him somewhere. Of course, you take back. Makes sense. Solid capture. We can't go here, and we can't go here. Well, we can go here, but it's our bishop's just going to get kicked, right? He's just going to move it around. So probably have to move back to one of these squares. So that's okay. Well, not there because then we lose this pawn in the center here. Something we could do, we could maybe try to move our queen out to check. That's not a great idea though, because then this pawn is undefended back here. So might have to go here, here, and then here actually. That might be the only real course of action. It's either that or bring our bishop back to the starting square. I think I'll do that. I think I'll go here and then maybe push this pawn forward so that I can get my bishop onto a nice safe square. That will be my plan from now. Okay, he's going to bring out his queen. Wants to move it around. Not a great move. I'll just bring out my bishop. Some free development for me. Now I can castle. That makes it a little bit easier. Okay, yeah, he's going to put some pressure on this bishop. That makes total sense to me. Because now if I castle, he can just take, and if I take back, then he gets it with the queen. We can try to put some pressure on this bishop, though. So if we go here, for instance, completely blocked from doing this. And then if we castle, then our king has like an escape square. Something that they might try to go here to try and block this bishop, or try to get it to move away, but this isn't good because then if he takes, now if I take back, then he takes, and then I go here. Now my king's not castled, right? And that's not good. We want to castle our king. So this is the best move here. Good idea to kick the bishop away. Yeah, I would say so. Okay, brings his bishop back. Now we can castle. Get out of there. A little bit stressful in the opening. Let's see what my rook can do. I don't know why. I don't know why he did this. At least not with castling. I genuinely have no idea what's going on here. Yeah. So what do we want to do? We want to develop our pieces. This bishop kind of sucks because it can't go anywhere because a whole bunch of areas are blocked. But what can we do? We can move this bishop out. Both putting the threat on this, and if he does something, then we can... Okay. Yeah, he wants to do that. That's fine. I don't know why, because now I can just take this pawn for free. So I will gladly do that. If your 1600 rated opponent does that, why not, right? Now he just moves it back. Yeah, that doesn't seem so bad to me. I'll put this bishop here just so that it's solid. I don't want to have too many loose pieces in my position. Like if I put him here, then he could have pushed something or did something bad, and I don't want that to happen. Let's probably try to develop some of our pieces here. Let's say we go here. He could take this bishop right here, but if we go up, then we have a little bit of power down the center here. Probably not a good idea though to just sacrifice a piece for nothing though. So let's try to put a little bit of a threat onto this queen and king right here. Right there, they're in the same line right now, and that's very dangerous. So if we were able to put our rook here, and this bishop wasn't in the way, this one right here, then this queen would be all but lost because he can't move because it's pinned, and if he takes, then we can just take back in a nice protected manner. So let's try to activate our rook on this square here. Okay, he wants to go there. That's totally fine. If he didn't, if he did any other move, literally I could just move this bishop here, and it would have been the same move over here. So I guess we can just run. That's totally fine. I don't know if there's another move. I don't know why he did this, because now the queen is all but lost, because we can just move our bishop here, and now it's, like we said, now it's a line right here. Hey, he brings his pawn forward. Once again, I don't even know why he didn't want to just take the rook to at least get some value out of it, but he didn't do that. So, yeah, now he didn't do that. Well, now we're ahead +5 against the 1600 rated opponent, Coach David. Kind of hanging his queen there. Kind of strange. If that doesn't deserve a subscribe, I don't know what does. I'm looking to get to 500 subscribers soon. I'm at like 460, I think, at the time of making this video. We're almost there. I would super appreciate you joining the Crusader army. Yeah, let's probably try to put some pressure on this pawn. I can do that with this this queen or this bishop. I think I'll do it with my queen, simply because now I can put my rook anywhere I want on this back rank if I want to do that. Okay. He puts his rook here. I will simply do this. Put an extra attacker on the pawn. Okay, so does he. How are we going to remove this bishop from the defense of this pawn? We're building up some angry attackers over here. Something I could do is like try to build up here and then build up here. Or that's pretty much it. I could like go here. Doesn't quite work because he can take. And any move that like I could do, like even just slowly trying to build up, like let's say bringing a rook here and then bringing this pawn forward. Actually, he can just pull this move off right here, so that doesn't quite work. Doesn't quite work. So we can still go here to try and threaten this in a bit. Get my rook into the game a little bit down an open file. That's pretty good. Okay. Don't give me anything for free. Good. Yeah. He says, it's vital to activate all your pieces. That was a good move. That's awesome. Thank you, Coach David. He tries to manually remove my rook from defense of this pawn because I can't go here because the pawn is defending it and this here. But we can just push our pawn forward, kick the bishop there, and then now we can do this move which we were thinking about before to try and kick this bishop and then take this pawn in the center. So he let us do it, so we might as well do it. Okay, he's gonna do that. So now we can do all of this, but I would, in this position, he tries to escape here, and we could push this bishop back even a bit further, but actually we have something even better, which is just this fork right here of both the rook and the bishop. So instead of just winning this pawn, now we're going to win a whole piece. You got me. Nice fork. Absolutely. Okay, so this is an interesting move. He kind of puts a threat on this bishop, which is good because the bishop's not being defended. If I go to defend this, then he can move his bishop out of the way, and then, yeah, that's good. But in this position, we can trade this bishop, and if he takes this bishop, then I can take again, and then I have a pawn that's really close to promotion. So that's a pretty good idea for me, so I'm going to go and do it here. Or, of course, he could just, take back this way. He doesn't. He lets me go forward, which, yeah, I'll oblige. I'll go there. He can stop me by castling. Okay, and he does that. But now I can just try to put some guns on, on trying to promote this pawn over here. For instance, I can bring my rook somewhere, my rook anywhere, and then bring my queen after. It's kind of not good for my opponent here. So getting this rook back here is probably a good idea. Maybe even on this bishop. I like this. No reason not to play this. I really want to activate this bishop because it's not doing anything. He's going to sneak this bishop back here to try and defend it. But now, what happens if I bring my rook back here to attack the bishop? It can't go anywhere. If it goes back here, then I can just take it. If it goes up here, then I can just bring my rook right here onto this square, and I can threaten taking it. Of course, he has his rook here to defend, but I can just start pushing this other pawn or bring my queen to go and help. Or even just take this right here. Like it's, it's pretty good. So put some more pressure on this bishop. Okay, he goes back. A way that we can secure a promotion, or at least the deletion of this rook, is to go right here with our rook. Not pushing to promote, because he'll take it, but if we go here. Because then, if he takes, then we promote to a queen. He has to take or put his rook somewhere to do something because it is pinned to the king. So let's say we go here, he does nothing, then we can just promote to a queen, he'll take it probably, and then we'll, we'll get our rook in there all well like that. So let's bring our rook back here. You immobilized my rook by pinning it to my king. I agree. This is what happened. So this threat is still in play because I can just keep the tension here. This is good. I don't need to force anything. I don't need to take here, even though it would be totally fine if I did. His bishop is here defending this. I can keep this because this bishop only threatens this square. So if I just keep this apparatus, this setup here, even if he takes, I can still just promote to a queen. Something else that this bishop was defending was this pawn here. And now I'm threatening both this rook and this bishop, which is quite scary for my opponent. Okay, he's going to forcibly put his bishop there. That's totally fine. This was a situation that I discussed before, how if I put my rook back here, he can put his bishop here, but now it's very limited. This apparatus is still set up here. But a tactic that my opponent didn't know is that this piece is now kind of, it's a defending piece of this rook, right? So if we take this bishop and he takes back, then we can get his rook for free. So that is something that my opponent missed, so we'll do it. To end up winning a bishop, absolutely. We'll go here. He can take this pawn in the end, but that ultimately doesn't matter a whole lot, simply because all he has left is his rook, and we have a queen and a bishop, which I will gladly start to get into this game by pushing this pawn and making a threat against it. Okay, yeah, threatens the queen. Just don't let that happen. We can probably protect the queen in case for some reason we blunder it. Then at least we take whatever piece it is back, and also we line up this pawn to be in the protection zone of the queen's range. Something we don't want to let happen is get my king mated on the back rank. If his rook was here and my bishop was somewhere else, I make one mistake and that's checkmate. So I've got to be careful of that. You can make an escape square right now because you're totally winning this game, but you can be careful enough that we just don't need to worry about it too much. Now we can even put like a permanent defender, this bishop, which didn't do anything for the whole game. We can make him as a permanent defender of the pawn here. You can even bring up this pawn here to just kind of lock that bishop in place. It's not going anywhere. Nothing is ever going to happen. I would even try to just get this rook off of this line to try and promote the pawn. You don't need to do that, but okay. He's gonna just sacrifice his rook for the pawn because he knows he can't do anything about it. Now we can try to checkmate. Of course, you can promote your pawns. You can use your queen. You can munch up all of his pawns. But let's try to practice a checkmating technique called just weaving a net to try and capture the king here to check him. So what can we do here? Well, where can the king go? The queen blocks off this square, this square. So the king can go to all of these squares. We want to use our bishop to try and use our bishop in line with our queen to capture the king. So what's a threat we can make? Well, we can go here and try to get our queen somewhere on a line to do a check here. Let's give him a check right back here. It forces him to move somewhere. He's going to go here. Now, if we put a threat with this bishop on this pawn, which on the very next move the queen can go to. If the queen is there, it'll block all of these squares and it'll just be good to go. So let's do a threat on this pawn here. Okay, so now the king is running. So we can do a check here like we wanted to. These two pieces protect each other, so it's fine. Yeah, he's running, so we did not exactly net him in the corner like that, but that's okay. As long as these two pieces are on a diagonal, he can never take any of them, so we can just keep going around. Okay. We don't have to worry about stalemate here because he can always push his pawns. So let's just try to get rid of some escape squares for this king. Okay, so he's going to go back there. Let's try to force him out of there. Bishop defends this, and queen defends all of this. So, yeah, this is not as straightforward as I thought it would be. Let's move this pawn forward here, force him to do something with it. Check. Okay. So now it should be a little bit easier to do. Check the king until he's on a dark square. Check with the bishop. You don't want to let the king escape. Holy smokes! Why am I suffering with this so much? In a low in a low time game, probably just take all the pawns and go and capture. I'm just trying to do a little a checkmate with the queen and the bishop, but it's proving a little bit more difficult than I thought, just because the king can run. and into these convenient spots. Anyway, if we push this pawn forward, the queen protects this pawn protects this pawn. So the king is now trapped in a little bit of a box. So I will do this. What squares are covered? These squares are covered. All of these squares are covered. This is covered. King covers these. So now we have kind of a threat, which is we put the bishop here. We cover all of these squares, all of this. Then we can start approaching the king. So let's go here, kind of box him in a little bit. Holy smokes. Just because if I do any check here, he does this. Not exactly great. Sure, let's go here to defend this pawn actually, and then we'll creep closer with the queen here. I don't even know. I guess it's been a while since I've had to checkmate with this much extra material. You know what? Let's just take all the pawns. He's not stalemated because these squares are blocked off, but the other ones aren't, so we'll go here. That could have been bad. I mouse slipped there, but it's fine. It's all right. Check. Check. Check once more. Get the king on the side of the board that you want him to. Now we can do knight's move away. So here, queen covers all of these squares in this position, so he has to move up. Same thing again. Knight's move has to move up, and then you can line up the queen and the bishop. There you go, to deliver a checkmate. Okay, so that's something I need to work on, I guess, is just doing checkmates in non-typical in a non-typical manner. Anyways, let's do a game review on this really quick. Did good for the whole game, but then I struggled with the end part of it. That's quite strange. Yeah. So we start our review here. You can see 85% accuracy, 75% accuracy. A lot of that accuracy probably came from the last half of the game when I was just checking them around everywhere. But yeah, see, look, we played 1650. That is a good rating. Our opponent's rated 1600. We played 1650. What do you know? You played a 950, so he played a little under average. Did a blunder there. We did a great move, probably taking advantage of a blunder there, but let's get over it. Okay, so we played a move. We did not play any theory. We just played our pieces forward in a way that made sense. And see, all of this is theory. All of this is theory. Okay, so I thought this was a blunder right away. And why is that? For an equal trade of pieces, I disagree. But, like, why is this bad? This is equal. Apparently, it's plus 1.6 for him. I don't understand why. Maybe because he has a bit of a developmental lead. Anyway, when you're low enough elo, this doesn't matter. Like, you got to be Hikaru to take advantage of this, right? Like, everything is totally equal. This is the follow-up. Whatever, right? We develop our pieces. He goes into the middle. Apparently, he doesn't like this move either. Probably for... It's this 1.6. It's whatever advantage, I guess, a positional advantage right away that it's talking about. Lot of misses and mistakes it doesn't like, but we played 85% accurate, so what are you going to do? He does a check here. He runs away. We castled, so now our idea was this rook to pin the queen to the king. Yeah, he moved his rook there for some reason. We don't know why. We move back. Line up. He checks. Yeah, didn't like this either. I'm not entirely sure why. Yeah, and then he just does this mistake. Sorry, does this mistake, which lets us pin the queen to the king. So that's pretty strange. But what did I think was the best move for him here? Oh, I see. Putting more pressure on the rook. So this doesn't work anymore because if he takes, we take back. He can take now, and then he's up a rook for a bishop. So I didn't see that. A little bit trickier on that side, but yeah, I guess if he just hangs the queen right away, then we just take that. Yeah, tried to defend with that bishop there. Tried to get my rook off of there, but yeah, just a simple deflection. Here we do a nice little fork. We take. And yeah, we kick that bishop out of there. Put our anchor on here. Best move. Yeah, we take. Very nice. wants us to push there. Very good. We defend in a nice way, making him give up all his pieces. And then this wonderful little run around. There's a mate in 3 somewhere. That's as close as we got, I think. Let's see here. A discovered check. And then a mate like that. Yeah, I was not seeing that. Yeah, and then just some mates I could not find. Mates in 2, mates in whatever. Let's see this mate in 2. I didn't see. Here. Just that simple. Just that simple. I couldn't find that. Oh well. We took all of his pawns and we worked him around the board. And we delivered checkmate on the side there. So there you go. Says my rating here is 400, so I guess that's what I played like at the end. I transitioned there. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. Come back for the next episode. I'd love to show you guys how to get better at chess. I'll have a better end game in the next one, I believe. Thank you for coming. Godspeed, brethren.